Hi all, welcome to Anjan GCP Data Engineering. So in this video we will see a concept called object versioning and also auto class. Okay, so before going to the actual demo, we will try to discuss the theoretical concepts and then we'll move to the demo. Okay, so let's move to the theoretical concept. Okay, so coming to the object versioning, right? So basically, to support retrieval of object which are deleted or replaced, right? So Google Cloud Storage is providing this feature called object versioning. Okay, so where you can maintain multiple versions of object inside a Google Cloud Storage bucket. Okay, and this works in both the cases where if the object is deleted, right? So you can maintain the different versions of the object, right? So and it works with the replacement also, right? In both the cases it works. Okay, and to enable this particular feature, right? So it should be enabled at bucket level, cannot be enabled at object level. Okay, so once you have the version enabled on top of the bucket, right? So each object as part of that bucket will be identified with a unique generation number, right? And it's a basically it's a metadata information associated with that particular object. Okay, so basically this is the basic terminology, right? So when you upload some object into the Google Cloud Storage bucket, if versioning is enabled on top of that bucket, that particular object version is called current version. So once if you delete and replace that particular object, that particular version will become the non-current version, and whatever the latest object you are going to upload into that bucket, that will be your current version, right? Now we have two versions of the, okay, and there is no default limit on the number of object versions you can have on top of that particular object, right? So it's up to you, but it is always recommended to have limited number of non-current versions, right, to be maintained inside your bucket, because whenever you store non-current object or version, right, inside the bucket, right, the cost to store that object will be the same as your current version. It's up to you, based on your requirement you are going to specify or limit number of non-current version to be maintained by that Google Cloud Storage bucket. Okay, and also it's always recommended to have a object lifecycle management on top of version enabled bucket, because once you reach a specified number of non-current version, it's better to delete, right, after certain period of time those non-current version. For example, 5 days or 7 days or 8 days, if you want to delete non-current versions, right? So you can have that object lifecycle management rule, right, on top of that bucket, so that it will automatically delete your non-current versions. Okay, so we have already uploaded a video on this concept called object lifecycle management. So I would recommend you to go through that video so that you will be clear, right, with that concept. Okay, so now I hope you are clear. Now coming to the auto class, right? So you know Google Cloud Storage is offering different storage classes, right? So you know, right, so if you go to the official documentations, we have these 4 storage class. One is standard and nearline and cold line and archival. So based on your data access pattern, right, you can select the appropriate storage class. Okay, for example, let's say if you are going to access a data or object, so just try to understand, when I use data and object interchangeably, both are same. Okay, so when you try to access the data very frequently, you will usually use the standard storage class. This is always recommended. For example, let's see, if you try to access your object, right, once in a month, so it's always recommended to use nearline. In the same way, once in a 90 days cool line, once in a 365 days or a 1 year, it is archival, right? So you, for example, if you have to manage your storage class associated with the object, right, so you will have to set up object lifecycle rules, So whenever that particular criteria met, then object will be moved from one storage class to the other storage class. So this is one way. And the other way, so you don't know when this is going to happen, right? And the access pattern is unpredictable when data has variety of access frequencies, right? In these two cases, right, if you want this has to be happen, that means transition has to happen, transition of object or data has to be happen automatically. Then you would be going for this particular feature called auto class. That means switching the object between different storage classes to save cost, because usually your nearline storage class will have a lesser cost to store data than the standard. In the same way, cold line will have lesser cost than nearline, archival will have lesser cost than cold line, right? So like that, in order to save the cost, if the transition has to be happen automatically, then you will go for this feature. Okay, so coming to the use case, I've already discussed. When you have the use case like the particular data access has variety of access frequency, like once in a 30 days or once in a 90 days or once in a year, right? And also you don't know the access pattern at all, it's unpredictable completely. In these use cases, it's always recommended to go for this auto class feature. Okay, so I hope you are clear. Now coming to the demo, the same thing. So what we will do, we'll try to apply this object versioning on an existing bucket, or also we'll try to basically upload different versions of object, and we'll try to upload an object and we'll try to replace it, and we'll try to examine its version history by using Google Cloud Console option, and also by using CLI commands. Okay, we'll try to perform all these operations like enabling an object version and an existing bucket, and listing all the objects and its versions, right? And also we'll try to restore its previous version. Okay, and we'll try to restore one of its version to the current version, something like that. Will perform the operations on top of a some existing bucket objects, right? So it can be also done to a new bucket, so it's up to you. In the same way, so we'll try to create a bucket, and we'll try to apply this auto class feature on top of that bucket, because this auto class feature cannot be applied to a existing bucket. So while creating bucket itself, you will have to go for this feature. Okay, and once we apply that feature, we'll try to examine, because we can't demo all this, right? Because we have to create the bucket and upload objects, and we'll wait for this much period, and so those things I cannot demo. Just we'll try to enable that feature and we'll see, we'll examine, right? So then we'll conclude the demo. Okay, so I hope you are clear. Let's move to the demo. Okay, now we are into our Google Cloud storage, that section, right? So now we have few buckets already available. So I've created these two buckets specifically for this demo. Okay, so this is for our CLI commands demo, this is for our console, okay, demo. Okay, now click on this bucket. Okay, so just click on this protection tab. Now you will see this object versioning is off. Okay, so to enable our object versioning, click on this here by default. So if you click on confirm, it will just enable our object versioning. So but I would like to even apply some object lifecycle rules along with object versioning. Okay, so what I'll do, I will select this option. Here we have two options by default it is providing. One is to just specify how many number of non-current version of that object you would like to maintain, right? I would like to maintain 5, and here, so after how many days you would like to expire your non-current version of your object. So if you specify 7, that means after 7 days it will just delete that non-current version of its life. Okay, so let it be 7 days. Just click on confirm. Now we have two object lifecycle management rules. Just click on over here. Now you will see these two rules. So it will maintain 5 non-current versions. Okay, and after 7 days, once that non-current version reaches that much time, it will just delete that particular non-current version. Okay, I hope you are clear. Now click on objects. Now we don't have anything over here. Just try to upload some data or some file. Okay, I'm just applying one file over here. Okay, so now you would see there are no versions available. So what I'll do, I will delete that particular file or data. Okay, I'll upload the same object or data. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll upload the same data again. Now you can see there is one non-current version available. Okay, so now click on this version history. Now you can see, so this is our live or current version, this is our non-current version, that is previous version. If you want, just by clicking this restore, you can even restore this non-current to the current version. So then you will have one non-current version, two non-current versions. Okay, so we'll try to do that. Just click on restore and confirm. Now you will see one current and there are two non-current versions. Okay, examine this generation number, this is the metadata. So we'll try to explain these two options in later point of video or maybe in the future videos, but here this is very important. As I already told in our theoretical section of this video, so each version of that object will have a unique generation number. By using this unique generation number, if you would like to delete that particular version, you can do that. If you want to restore that to a current version, you can do that, right? So I hope you are clear how it is very much helpful when you delete or replace a particular object inside a bucket. Okay, so now what we will do, we'll try to perform all these operations, right, like enabling object versioning and checking object versioning is enabled or not, right, using our CLI commands, and also we'll try to restore a non-current version to the current version. We'll try to remove a particular version of that object. Okay, so we'll do that. Okay, now what we'll do, we'll go to the buckets. Okay, now we have this bucket, so on top of this bucket we will try to perform all these steps. Okay, so let us enable Cloud Shell environment. We have our Cloud Shell environment enabled. This is the first command where we will try to check if that object versioning is enabled or not. Okay, so let's see that. So there is null, that means no object versioning is enabled on top of this bucket. Okay, so now what we will do, we'll try to enable object versioning. This is a command to use. Okay, yeah, now you can see it is that updating of that particular action is completed. Now we should see object versioning is enabled with the same command. It should be true now. Now true. Okay, so and also we'll try to examine the bucket. Go over here. Now there are no objects or no data, so click on this protection. Okay, now object version is on, but there is no lifecycle management rules. By using CLI commands, by default you won't be having any CLI rules. If you want, you can apply few lifecycle management rules to preserve number of non-current version and also to delete non-current version if existence reaches up to certain period of time. Okay, so I hope it is clear. Now what we will do, we'll try to upload some data. Okay, same file. Okay, right, and what I'll do, I'll delete same thing, again upload one more version of the same file. Okay, now we should see two versions of this object, one is current and one is non-current. Okay, so what we will do, by using this command, we'll try to list how many versions of that object available. Okay, So go to the Cloud Shell environment. Now you can see there are two versions. One is, this is our current version, this is our non-current version. Okay, now what we will do, we'll try to restore this non-current to the current. For that, what we will do, so we'll take the object version, sorry, object name, okay, and we have to specify the generation number. Just we'll do that. Now it is completed. That means we have already, that means we have restored our non-current version of the object to the current version. Now just go back and run this command to list how many number of versions of that object available. Okay, now you should see three versions. One is current, this is the current, and these two are the non-current versions. Okay, so now what we will do, we will try to remove one particular non-current version of that object. So for that we have to modify this command. So object name and its non-current version. Okay, this is one of the non-current version. Okay, so we'll do that. So this is a command. Here just notice what we are doing. So we are just specifying its generation number along with the object name to remove that particular version. Okay, so now just run that command. So it has deleted that non-current version. If you try to list your version, you should see only two. One is current and one is non-current. Okay, so if you want to, right now just go back to your bucket, right, again. So this is your bucket, and click on this protection. Now you can see this object version is enabled and all those details. Now what we will do, we'll try to disable this object version. So this is the command to disable object versioning on top of this bucket. Okay, now run this command. Okay, so now what you can do, you can just try to examine whether that object versioning is disabled or not. Now you can see false. So this is how, by using CLI command, you can perform all this operation to enable the versioning, right, and to restore your previous version to the current versions, right, and also to remove a specific non-current version of that object, right, and to even disable your object versioning. Okay, now go back to your buckets and click on this bucket. Okay, now click on this protection section, the tab. Now you can see this object's version is off. Okay, so I hope it will help you. Okay, so now what we will do, we will try to examine this auto class feature. So for that, what I'll do, I will try to create a bucket. So click on create, and okay, so this is a bucket name. Now click on continue. So what I'll do, let it be, and click on continue. So this is where you would select your auto class. Okay, so if you don't select this auto class, it will ask you to select one of this option. So let me select this auto class. Okay, and here this is one of the important thing to observe. So for auto class monitoring and automation, there is some fee, right? So this is applied, right? So you have to be very careful while selecting this. Okay, so if you want this to be enabled, yeah, you can select this and click on create. Okay, now it will create a bucket with auto class enabled, right? So to check whether auto class is enabled or not, click on this configuration, right? Here in the storage class section, you can see manage with auto class. Otherwise, for the other buckets, it would be like any storage class, right? For example, if this, for this bucket, if you see, this is a standard storage class. So in case of our auto class enabled bucket, so this is the difference, right? Here, manage with auto class. So this is how you can enable your auto class. Okay, so I hope it is clear, right? And that's it for this video. We will meet in the next video. Thank you for watching this video.